What is that? Who is that? Is that ASAP Rocky? Bitch, why your pussy tastes like ASAP Rocky? What the fuck?
So for some reason, I've just never gotten around to listening to ASAP Rocky's discography. The only album of his that I've ever heard was Testing. And so the people on my streams asked for this one, they donated for this one, and I really appreciate the support for the channel. And you want it, you got it. So we're going to be listening to Long Live ASAP today. I've never heard it. It's 17 songs long. We're listening to the deluxe version, about an hour and 10 minutes. Not terrible, a little bit too long in my opinion, but not terrible. I'm just hoping that it doesn't sound dated. It's from 2013. I'm hoping that these songs hold up really well, because if it does sound dated, it might get a little tiresome, but we'll see how it sounds. I've never heard this, like I said, so track 1 is Long Live ASAP. Let's get it.
Sitting out my kitchen full of dish, nose bloody from that sniffing. That murder business. Got that semi flipping, then it's Chris.
This is pretty interesting. I like the little vocal chop. It kind of makes this song, you know, that much more of a banger. The 808's really hitting. There was a little bit of a harp sound that just panned from my right ear to my left ear that I thought was really cool. And that little plucked, you know, don't, that comes in every now and then is also very interesting. Really creative production. Kind of a banger. I'm not mad at this. Wow. Oh, this is fire.
Lost your motherfucking mind. What's on your mind? Niggas talking down about your mind. Cause this killer's
Talking about your mind. This part is so sweet, man. That's a great intro, man. I love the radical difference that there is between the production during the verses and the production during the chorus. The really soft guitar, the muffled drums in the background, and just the really sweet singing performance of the chorus is such a nice little contrast to the hard-hitting, aggressive, kind of like distorted, you know, verses, the verse sections of the song with the vocal chops and the really hard-hitting drums. I really like that contrast. I think it makes for a very interesting listen. Definitely grabs my attention for the rest of this project. So track number 2 is Goldie. I love these drums, man.
It's the greatness. My Martin was the Mason rock my jealous with no laces.
Wow, that sample in the background.
Different when you taste it. And they late teens remind me of favorite jeans cause they naked cause you famous. Like some other came with niggas wanna hate.
It's bouncy.
Cause my chain came from Cuba, got a lock up.
Can you imagine like a Lil Wayne feature on this? That'd be so sick.
Party like a cowboy or rock star.
I love that little melody in the beat, the don't. You know what I mean. I'm totally not hitting those notes, but I really like that, man. It sounds super cool, very playful. I'm not sure that the chorus is really grabbing my attention, or at least giving me the energy that I wish it kind of had. You know, I'm not certain how catchy that chorus is, but I'm loving the verses. The production during the verses is giving me that really great energy, that fun kind of, you know, vibe that I'm looking for with this track. And I do think that with this kind of tempo and this kind of bounce, a Lil Wayne feature on this would have been killer, man. But, you know, I'm not mad at this track. I'm not certain that I prefer it over Long Live ASAP, because I really do love the chorus to Long Live ASAP a whole lot. But I also think that they're very different from each other, so it is tough to compare them. So right now we're getting a little bit of versatility from Rocky as well, which I think is pretty dope. Goldie is pretty good. You know, maybe it'll grow on me a little bit more as I listen to it. But like I said, the verses though, they're really fire. PMW, All I Really Need with Schoolboy Q. Let's go. Oh, this is gonna be fire. Oh wait. This is oh, I think I recognize this song. This is sounding really familiar. Is PMW Pussy, Money, and Weed? This is sounding kind of familiar. I might have heard this one a long time ago. Yeah. It's coming back to me. I've heard this before. So long ago. Wow, man. These pads that just came in with that guitar in the background, they're just so cool, man. The vibe that they carry with them is so sweet.
Black, purple drink, got that. Charlie's hoes all the twerk something. Cause I'm in love with that ass, she in love with the cat.
For some reason, I'm getting I'm On One vibes. You know, the DJ Khaled Drake song with Lil Wayne. But for some reason, it's giving me kind of that sort of vibe.
Take you right to make this high.
This is a banger. I must have heard this like what, six or 7 years ago?
The black hot, so I'm shedding in my bucket hat.
Oh.
A little bit I got, they don't get hair from hoes with overbites. Just giving out game, nigga, show you right. It was just a flight.
Q is so sick, man. Yeah, so I remember this track very faintly. I think I've heard it maybe 6 years ago or something like that. Was it more recently? 5 maybe? I don't know. A while ago. I had barely remembered it, but as soon as that I heard that little guitar and I saw the, you know, PMW for, I remembered the hook, the pussy money weed, you know, something like that. So I do remember this song very faintly, but I think Schoolboy Q killed that verse. I think he had some really funny lines in there, you know, like getting head from chicks with overbites. I thought that was kind of funny. Very, you know, just entertaining. You know, it's a vibe. It's a banger. Like I said, I kind of do get the I'm on one vibes from, I think it's the pads. You know, I think it's the pads and the little guitar in the background reminds me of the lead that they use on I'm on one. But yeah, you know, I like it. I like that song. That's pretty dope. Track 4 is Level. Wow, you know, I love this production. It is kind of on the experimental side.
Know why? Cause I gotta open that pussy soaking. Introduce you niggas to the new swag. Niggas say a nigga blew up too fast.
That use of the vocals in the production reminds me a little bit of Skrillex and some of the stuff that he does with vocal chops.
Movie nigga with a new cast. Get the news flash. Get the truth back.
It's a dope flow.
Nigga make way for the new jack.
Oh man, this little portion kind of killed the vibe a little bit. It feels a little empty.
It's Mr. Pistol Pop.
Yeah, that was kind of a vibe killer, that little section of the song. Hey, let's go. Yeah, you know, there was that little segment that kind of killed the vibe towards the middle of the song. There was just a really long portion of the track that just felt kind of empty, at least for the purposes of sitting down and reviewing the song. Maybe if I'm just chilling and listening to this, that's the portion where you kind of vibe out a little bit and get lost in the production. But for the purposes of sitting down and critically listening to a song, I didn't really like that empty portion of the song. I do think his flow on both of these verses is really, really impressive. I think he did a great job rapping on this song. I do like how the production is a little bit more on the experimental side. It's not necessarily traditional kind of rap beats that we're hearing. And I like that. I can see why a lot of you guys wanted me to listen to this album coming from the perspective that I come from. So I really like that, you know, that aspect to this project so far, the production aspect to it. But track 4 is a little underwhelming. I am kind of, you know, upset with that kind of vibe killer towards the middle of it. So it is what it is. Track 5 is Hell featuring Santigold. Let's go.
The wear rugged boots, now it's all till it suits. Made bad moves, he might end up in the new.
This little like choir pad, it sounds like a choir pad that they kind of muffled out a little bit that's going on. Sounds so weird for this kind of music, you know? It's so interesting.
Katie Goon, I know you live by the gun, then you me out and trying to stunt and yeah, I'm about my guap and need my shoe. You tell them blow this.
Okay. This melody will get stuck in your head.
Ride with the pretty nigga who be no chauffeur.
I'm not sure how I feel about that little bridge, man. I don't think that some of those notes she was hitting really fit with the chord progression of the song, so they kind of sound off. They might even be in the right key, but they're not sounding too good with the chords that are being played, I think. That might be it. Yeah, you know, it's not my favorite track so far, but I do like that Santigold feature for the most part. The bridge I'm a little iffy on. Track 6 is Pain featuring Overdose. Who produced this? Did Pharrell produce this? That little 4 count is such a Pharrell thing to do, man.
With your head in the clouds, somebody shoot you down.
Lights, camera, action. Lights, camera, action.
You could totally sample these synths and put some Pierre drums over it and make like a Playboy Cardi type beat. Ahead of its time.
Lights, camera, action.
You would be televised, haters getting genocide. I never lie, never tell a lie. I would testify.
Says fuck you and your Instagram, matchagram, man though. Royal blue foe.
I'm kind of bored by this one. I'm not really feeling it. I don't know, man. Honestly, I just found that one kind of boring. I don't think there was enough going on to catch my attention. You know what I mean? There was just kind of a sleepy sounding song, you know? Track 7 is Effin' Problems, and I do know this one. Drake, 2 Chainz, Kendrick Lamar. you know, this is a banger. We'll play a little bit of it. I have heard it before though, so I'm not reacting to it. I'm just playing this one for the hell of it. Yeah, effing Problems. Let's go. Produced by 40 and Drake, bro. They killed it. The drum sounds do kind of sound a little dated, I'm not gonna lie. We need new Kendrick, bro. Yeah, that's, you know, that's just a great song, man. It's super fun, very bouncy, lots of energy, catchy hook, great performances from Drake, 2 Chainz, Kendrick, and ASAP. That's one of those songs that I don't think will ever really get old, and it really just reminds me that Kendrick Lamar hasn't dropped in so long, and I really want him to. So Kendrick, get on that. Wild for the Night featuring Skrillex and Birdie Nom Nom. So Skrillex does have some participation on this album, so I wasn't too crazy when I mentioned him on that other track. Do you think he had production credits on that one? I think it was Level. I might have to go back and check that. But yeah, track 8.
I'll expose it if I dress up. Riding in that Tesla. Switching lanes, never change to the same. It's getting right, smoking weed with dirty Sprite. I'm going wild for the night.
There he is.
ASAP niggas finna sneak in. Hot box, 6 shots got me feeling like pot, boy. Party all night, shit don't stop, boy.
For the night, fuck being polite. I'm going
with my homies, tell them where we going.
wild for the night.
It's not bad. I like the energy to that one. That one probably goes really crazy, you know, or at least it would have gone really crazy during the concerts and things like that. I'm just not certain that I would personally come back to that one a whole lot. It's not really, you know, the sort of music that I listen to on a regular basis. I can appreciate it for what it is. I can understand the appeal for it, but it's just not really the kind of music that I listen to very often. But it's not bad at all, man. It's not bad, for sure. Track 9 is One Train, featuring Kendrick Lamar, Joey Badass, Yellow Wolf, Danny Brown, and Action Bronson. And the featureless cuts off there, but there might be more that I can't see here. So, judging by the features, this is gonna be wild. I've never heard the song. Oh man, with this sample? Oh, the last feature is Big Crit. Oh my god, that's a crazy lineup.
Don't be scared, nigga. Is you ready? I've been thinking about.
This is the best beat I've heard on this project so far, man. It's so sad that it took us 9 tracks to finally be able to say that. But this is the beat that I'm feeling the most already, bro. The sample, the drums, the bounce. The lineup has me so excited for it, and the beat, you know, is not disappointing me at all.
My bed is round the same amount. Ever since this new star fame came about, Lamborghini from a Mustang, drug sling in the drug game with the hustling. Lord, then I broke guard, any Bozak, I approached that with a toe tag, get broke off in the projects with a skateboard, HR like let's play ball in a ballpark with all sharks in a blindfold and a clip. Straight from the rip, I'll make that shirt say rip. In my face, I might snap, I might choke your spine right out of place.
Bro, not only is Kendrick's flow and lyricism always on point, but his performance is always so captivating, man. He's just a killer on every single song. He is just an assassin on every single song. He's always on 10. It's crazy. This beat's so perfect, man.
Just got back to the block from 6 o'clock with Jigga. And I
Sheesh. Oh my god.
But when I reach, only hurt themselves. Body double look up on me to these others, cause comparatively speaking, my reach is beyond the bubble. My rhyming plus a line and us. Alabama's climbing up. Wait, no.
I just don't know how well his performance, you know, his actual performance itself stacks up against some of the other artists on this track for this beat specifically. I'm just not sure that it's making too much sense. You know, I don't know that the emphasis he's putting on certain syllables and the layering that he does, where he does multiple takes to add that punch to certain segments of his verse. I'm not sure that that's really matching very well with the production. I don't know that Yellow Wolf's verse on this one is gonna feel very necessary towards the end of the track. You know. Danny Brown is a legend. Let's go. Jeez.
cloth. My short often confetti torture, drinking Henny like I'm Kenny Lofton. Damn, this shit tastes like fantastic. You see me coming through it.
Spit like my last breath, casket rap.
Big crit, let's go.
The black is was down. Fuck them haters and fuck them hoes. The championship wins the aftermath. Ask LeBron, open palm, slap a bitch.
Hey, oh my god, wait, no. Big crit went in too. I'm gonna be real, yeah. If you take Yellow Wolf's verse off of this track, this song's perfect. But even as it is, I prefer this song over Effin' Problems, and I think this is the best song of this project so far. I don't even mind the length, to be honest. And can we talk about Action Bronson for a second, dude? I mean, talk about underrated. Talk about underrated among rappers in general, but even among white rappers, no one really mentions him, and he's just ridiculous. So, Action Bronson, huge props, for holding his own on this track among giants. I mean, Kendrick Lamar, badass. Danny Brown, he held his own, and he really shined on this song. So yeah, I just gotta really shout that out, because his performance, his delivery, his flow, it was just all so smooth, so silky, really, really well done. Kendrick Lamar solidifying himself as always as just a monster. There's no other way to put it. Joey Badass, his voice, he sounds so young on this, but killed his performance as well. Danny Brown, legend, just super charismatic. His punchlines always hit so nice, so funny. His voice has so much character to it, just fantastic. I love this song, man. I love this song. I think the beat's perfect. Best song on the album so far. Just ridiculous. Track 10, Fashion Killer. Yeah, he really goes for that like kind of poppy, sometimes EDM kind of lane, doesn't he? That's really interesting. It's one thing that I've been noticing too. Is that the hook? I don't know about that one. Not all of these songs hold up very well. We'll just say that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the hook. I'm not a huge fan of the production. I like that it's different, and he's taking these risks. I can appreciate that. I commend him for it, but it's just not for me. I don't think that all of these songs hold up very well. Some of them do sound a little bit more dated. I don't think that some of these songs would have been very well received if they came out today. And whether you like it or not, I mean, yeah, it kind of is my fault for not having heard this until now. I mean, it is 8 years old at this point. I had just never gotten around to, listening to APRocky's music. I get that. I should have listened to it when it came out. I would have appreciated it a little bit more. But part of making good music is making sure it stands the test of time and ages well, And so I just don't think that Fashion Killer holds up very well. It doesn't stack up very well to compare to a song like One Train, for example. One Train, it could have come out last week and it would have been a banger. Fashion Killer, not so much. So it is what it is. At least that's, it's just my opinion. You can let me know if you feel differently in the comment section. I welcome that sort of stuff. So track 11 is Phoenix.
Bloody ink on my pad spelled suicide. Michael Jackson even passed cause you be supersized. Good and bad.
I love how minimalistic this one is right now. I love that. The choppy performance, really cool. Oh, that's dope. This kind of sounds like a Tyler feature would be killer, right? Where the production kind of dies down and it's very minimalistic. A Tyler feature? Oh my god. Nasty.
The nigga, life's a bitch, but that bitch in love with other niggas. 3 tubers, nigga.
Yeah, it's tough.
Sucker niggas. What's up with niggas?
Yeah, this is beautiful, man. This is dope. I'm not mad at this one. This is pretty cool. Yeah, talking about, some of the struggles that he faced coming up, having to choose between the Bible or the rifle, talking about the 3 to the sheets with no covers, having to go to sleep with no supper, just really hard upbringing. And whether or not he was talking about himself or people who were, living where he came up from, there are lots of people who to this day go through that. And it's, it's tough to picture, it's tough to imagine somebody having to live in that situation, which is why we must do, whatever we can to help people. But it's not just because it's tough to listen to, or tough to imagine people living in that situation, that this song is like unbearable or anything like that. You know, it's shedding light on those people in that situation, and I think it's really well done. I think the production's very beautiful. It's very pretty at some points, and I don't think that that's a bad thing to say. I think he meant it to be that way, and yeah, man, it's just really, really nicely done. I like it. It's kind of poignant, you know. It's really cool. Track 12 is Suddenly.
For sure these hoes was so uptight, but now they so polite. Ricky had a deuce, two shoddy pumps with a baby 9. Another young nigga with an attitude. I guess that's why the ram straps and reflectors.
He's killing it. I love this sort of production. It's super heavily focused on the sample and super minimalistic. No drums, and he's killing his verse over this. It's super smooth. I keep forgetting to look at the camera when I talk to you guys.
Fuck the conscious crap, Mac to push your conscious back. The baddest bitches on the block be even speaking about me.
Yeah, the drums not really necessary in my opinion. Killed his verse, man. Killed his verse. Really dope performance from Rocky. Like I said, could have just done without the drums, and maybe could have done with like 45 seconds less. If this song were 45 seconds shorter, I think it would be spot on, and no drums, perfect. The beat was really, really cool without them, man, honestly. And I think that, you know, Rocky being the center of attention for the majority of this song was really dope. Track 13 is Jody. Talk about a snare and a clap with some snap to it.
When I met you, you was painting nails. Leave the motherfuckers all the niggas is washed up. I been got in Florida, shoot to Miami, goes
hey.
Nigga, we bossed up, bounce. But when curly, yeah, I think back to my early day.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm not really feeling that one. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know specifically what it is about it, man. You know, the production's okay. His performance is consistent. I don't know. It just doesn't feel very memorable. It doesn't really feel very replayable. I don't feel like I have to, you know, ever come back to it, honestly. I don't know, man. It's just not really grabbing my attention for some reason. Again, I keep forgetting to look at the camera, man. I'm so used to looking at the computer. But for some reason, it's just not really grabbing my attention. It's just not really doing it for me. I don't think that is going to stand the test of time. You know, it still kind of sounds not super dated, but I don't think that in a few years you'll be able to really come back to this. I might be wrong on that, but I don't know. Ghetto Symphony featuring Gunplay and A$AP Ferg.
A rebel I be one day on that track with gunplay. Outcast my whole life, so I came with feng shui in my closets like a runway. Come shopping day for 2K. Fuji ass bitch made me wait the fuck for 2 days.
That little snare roll into the drop is kind of dated, honestly.
Before I get aggressive, forget it, already mouth, phony smile. Warren, police on me now, still torn.
A boy, might get found by a little fishing boy. On the Schwarzenegger, talks a nigga. Like codeine mixed with...
Yeah, that's a dope track. I really like the energy. I like the way that they play off of each other. You know, there's a really cool little breakdown before every single verse. With that little sample, the little snare roll that leads into the drop for them to start their verses, that is a little dated. That's something that most people don't really do in their beats anymore, but you know, I'm not mad at that. I really like the energy. I really like the energy on that one. That's pretty dope. Track 15 is Angels.
From the cell phone rang.
These melodies are it, bro. That's crazy.
They call me young drug dealer. They call me niggas.
He's flowing crazy on this beat.
Nigga dash like a speed of a bullet with a pistol on him. I'm the guard of that. Gave you my back, nigga, part in that. Fuck that shit. Fuck Black Land.
I think there's a little too much reverb on his vocals, to be honest.
My kinfolk, shout outs my connect.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I really, really, really like those melodies. I wouldn't have added reverb to the snare, to be honest. I get that they wanted to create space, but I don't know. Something about adding reverb to the snare, or at least that much. You know, I would have, if you're gonna add some, just add less, I guess, to the snare. It does kind of sound like it's not hitting hard enough. And same thing with his vocals. There is a little too much reverb on his vocals, but beyond that, the track is really really dope. I would love to kind of sample those melodies and add some modern hip hop drums over them, just to see what that would sound like, because they really really sound very cool in my opinion. So yeah, and his performance is very very consistent. His flow is always super tight. His verses are always very very fire. That's one thing that I've noticed throughout this entire project, is just his consistency is really really dope. Track 16, I Come Apart, featuring Florence Welch.
Every time you speed, always fall flat cause you wanna rush.
Together, we come apart.
Florence is a beast.
Can't last forever.
Florence is murderous, man.
I didn't think you slept with me. It's ruthless, she the closest thing next.
My favorite thing about this song is Florence, man. Her vocals are just ridiculous. Her singing in the background while he spits his verses is just heavenly. She kills that hook. I mean, she is just a beast, you know? She took over this track, in my opinion. The production seems way more suited to her than it does to Rocky, ironically, because it is kind of like a rap beat, you know? But she just managed to use that so creatively and so much better than he did, I think. So Florence is my favorite part of that song. The last track is Purple Swag Remix, featuring Bun B, Paul Wall, and Killa Kylion.
World full of haters, very few rich, so I open my mind and stack up my big old coke up with codeine mix, so I'm so throwed in.
Trill OG, and I rep the South, man, I rep the streets, and I rep the hood, and hood with diamonds on it. Hitting the block, and I'm grinding on it. With rhymes where your bitch surmise that I'm the shit. Swoon, I lit the blunt.
Like a nigga named ASAP. Fast money, man, I get my ASAP.
Let's go.
Candy dripping. For my 20, I'm candy sipping.
You remember when everything was related to swag? When everything, you know, swag was everything? Do you remember that? Crazy, bro. It brings me back to 8th grade. I'm not a huge fan of the chorus. The last verse is my favorite. Love the energy that they brought to the beat. But yeah, I think in general, everyone just kind of did about as well as I expected them to. Nothing extremely impressive. Just a dope song. Just dope verses over a pretty dope beat. And not a super great hook, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm not mad at that as a closer, especially since it's probably a bonus track, since this is the deluxe. So I think we got past the actual ending of the album a minute ago, so, or a while ago. So yeah, I'm not mad at that, man. That's pretty dope. Honestly, having never heard Long Live ASAP, some of these songs do sound dated. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not like when I listen to Blonde, where it sounds like it could have dropped last week and it's super great and everything holds up so well and it's such a nice album to listen to. If I'm being real, it's not that I don't like this album, man. It's just that a lot of it does sound kind of dated. Some of these songs, in my opinion, just I wouldn't come back to. I wouldn't really, you know, hold them up compared to some of the other tracks that I listen to from nowadays, even from Rocky himself, you know, some of his more recent tracks. But it comes with the territory, man. Listening to these older albums, a lot of them just are gonna have some songs that don't hold up so well. However, I did really enjoy One Train. I had never heard that song before, and that's my favorite song off this project. It was really nice to rediscover PMW with Schoolboy Q, because that just kind of brought me back to the time period when I first heard that song. Long Live ASAP had that really, really cool chorus that I fell in love with. It was just super, super cool. Effin' Problem is a classic song. I mean, everybody comes back to that one a lot. Fashion Killer was really, really iffy in my opinion. Florence Welch killed her verse, her features on I Come Apart. So we do have some really high highs to this project, but the lows, you know, it's not that they're super low, they're dated. And so, you know, it stops me from really coming back to a lot of it. I guess if I had to rate this off my first listen, I would say I enjoyed it about as much as like a 6, which isn't bad. It's above average, but it's also not like stupendous or life-changing, you know? I'm always going to give you my honest takes on these albums, man. And if you're a huge fan of Long Live ASAP, don't take that personally. Like I said, most of it does come with me not experiencing this album when it dropped. The culture has changed so much, the sound has changed so much since then that there is some element to the review that is going to be missing, since I hadn't heard, you know, this album before in that time period. So yeah, it is what it is. I still am a huge fan of a lot of these songs though, especially One Train. That's my take on this, man. Let me know what you think about the video in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed it, at least. It is a legitimate first reaction, and I think it's always fun to see people listen to some of our favorite songs for the first time. So if you did enjoy it, support the channel, drop that like, hit the subscribe button if you're new. I'd really appreciate that. Like I said, I think I mentioned, let me know what you think about it in the comment section, about this album in the comment section. If you feel like supporting the channel long term, there is the Patreon and the membership option. All of that stuff is in the description. Shout out to APRocky. You know, and needless to say, he's a fantastic artist with a really major following, and he needs to continue to make music. It is what it is. Let me know if you want At Long Last ASAP. I will give that a listen as well if you guys ask for it enough in the comment section, and I end up having enough time for it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I will see you guys in another video very soon. Until then, stay safe. Peace out.
Bitch, you better praise God or I'ma shoot, and that's on God. I ain't playing by my Lord and Savior. I'm on my job. If you ain't a Christian, I'ma stab you in the face. If it ain't about Jesus, I'ma hit you with this K. Sometimes you just hit the gas and start thinking about the Crusades, man. Bunch of long-haired, big-armed white boys running into